So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, going into the ace game of tonight's quarterfinals of Go for SC2 Thursday. I'm Madals, and we have gone two awesome players duking it out for that spot in the semis. To the top left, the purple Protoss player, representing Cascade, it is Adonminus. And to the lower right, his opponent, the pink Zerg, it is Skinky. Skinky was able to take game number 1 with some great control in the late game of his Roach, Hydra, Viper composition. Game number 2 though, he mixed it up a bit, went for that proxy hatchery, and unfortunately for him, really didn't work out the way he probably wanted it to. He got countered with a proxy robo facility that made a war prism and a sentry drop, just wrecked the main base from head to toe. So that let Adonminus level out the game, but what are we going to be having in this one? To be honest, it's too early to tell. We're in cross-spawn position on Frost. All we know is that Adonminus is going for a gate expand yet again. Meanwhile, Skinky, he's not giving away any of his secrets. This could still be a hatch first, could still be a pool first, could even be a gas first, but looks like it's going to be that spawning pool coming down. Nothing too risky. This is obviously only one game between going through to the semis and getting eliminated in the quarterfinals. No one wants to get eliminated at any point, but a lot of pressure coming through here. This is the first best of 3 round, and therefore this is where many consider the tournament to become completely skill based. Nothing on the side of chance. That's the important thing to note. So still keep an eye on anything too freaky coming down. We've got a quick little look here. Drone just dancing about, having a good little look. Hatch is on its way. Things are all looking pretty sweet actually. This is a nice game for now. Nothing on the scary side. And that's good because game number 1 was really spectacular in the back and forth. But not too much else. Keeping a look on everything that's happening. No scouting as of yet. Over on... Oh, Skinky does actually know, but it's Adonminus who hasn't actually done any scouting yet. So he doesn't know anything that's coming through there. Nexus just now getting started, so a very safe opening from Adonminus. Not getting that hatch block, so he's going to be pretty happy about that. Meanwhile, if we look over at Skinky's side, obviously he's getting his hatch up now. These are all very normal timings. He's going to be wanting to try and get a third out relatively quickly. His exact timing of that depends on how confident he's feeling. Looks like he wants to go and take it quite early though. 4 minutes 20 up against a gateway expand is a bit quicker than you generally see it. But considering it was from obviously a pool first opening, it's not a massive problem. He's got the ability to defend that quite nicely. So, as this is all going, we get our first interesting piece of the puzzle, and that's going to be the Stargate. So Adonminus really favouring these Phoenix so far this evening. Could be seeing those again. It's not a super early Stargate, but I suspect the Phoenix will be coming. He's had a lot of success with those. He's demonstrated a lot of aptitude in controlling them very effectively. So in no way do I think that this is a bad decision for him. And actually, Skinky did say in one of the lobbies that he was struggling in game number 1 with that Phoenix control from Adonminus because it was at just such a high level. Stargate about to finish up, and Phoenix should get started. That's what I'm expecting. Ooh, okay. Oracle. A lot higher potential damage output, but a much higher risk. If it gets scouted, if spore coolers get put down, that Oracle will do next to nothing. And if it doesn't do anything, it is a very expensive unit, very expensive tech path to achieve very, very little. The Lings though aren't going to get the scout. The Overlord from the back also unlikely to get that scout down. And it's important to note that Skinky did not see this greedy third. And this was a very early third base. Came just after the 6-minute mark. Not as early as it could be, but still very early nonetheless. And that means that Adonminus is again focusing on using harassment to buy himself the time to take these kind of cut corners and go for risks. Oracle coming in, racks up 1, 2, 3 kills, backs away, still alive. And while 3 kills may not justify the expense of an Oracle, it's still alive. It can still do more. And all while that's there, all while the possibility of more damage is basically pressing. Don't count the Oracle out yet. Moving in towards the natural base now. Gonna go for a bit more damage. The Queen is out of position. The Oracle already racking up a bit of kills. Can't take it head on. Spore finishes up. Nearly kills that Oracle. 5 kills. Ideally it wants to get about 3 more. That's when it becomes pretty cost effective on its own. We still see the work counts very similar. But the third base is now completed. And to my knowledge, it still hasn't been scouted by Skinky. He is not aware that that third nexus is down. That's actually quite a big step, because obviously this gives Adonminus the triple throw production. It gives Adonminus the extra income. He can support an awful lot of basically production off of these 3 bases, and because Skinky doesn't know about it, he's not attempting to take a 4th. He's not trying to punish that greedy 3rd. Instead, he's just playing as if Adonminus is sitting in a very normal kind of 2-base situation, just going for some Oracle harass. Big switch up here though, we get a Nidus network coming down. This is not something that we often see, and quite frankly, being both of them positioned next to each other here, it is highly unlikely that we would have seen the click come down, because to be honest, Adonminus is going to assume that's an evolution chamber, almost definitely. I don't know if he did click it, but I highly doubt that he would have done with that Oracle, so may not even know that this is coming. Of course, the Nidus network is a great tool, can be very effective. Not quite sure where it's going to go though, because there's not really many places that there isn't vision of. This is probably quite a good position to drop the Nidus down. This Overseer coming in from the side, going to be looking to grab something in there. Could work very nicely, so a couple of places that it could go, mainly for a flank-based play. A lot of Hydras also coming in. Now the Hydralisks are going to be incredibly important. And the reason for that is that they're the big damage dealers. And without any Colossi, without really any gateway unit support, Adonminus is going to have a little bit of trouble trying to deal with this. Nidus 1 has popped out, this Changeling, granting vision, saying, okay, what have we got going on here? Quick warp into more units, the Mothership Core setting with 200 to 200 energy. What can these Hydras do though? Potent Overcharge triggers nice and early, there's not that many Hydralisks on the field. Not moving in with critical mass yet, but does alert Adonminus to what's coming. The Void Ray is very far forward, but those Hydras turn tail and scamper away. Down goes the Nidus. Down goes the Overseer, but another one immediately thrown in. Over to the right. This is going to be forcing Adonminus to the left, to the right, back and forth, trying to defend everywhere at once. It may not work out too well for him though. He's got to keep up these defense. He's adding in a lot more Zealots. These Zealots do have charge, so they can close up the distance to the Hydras relatively well. The upgrade advantage also hugely on Adonminus' side. 1-0 up against no evolution chamber yet for Skinky. Another Potent Overcharge is possible. We've got a couple of Archons morphing in. The Zealots wrapping around. Void Ray's dealing some good damage to those roaches, dishing it through. The Archons now joining the fight, and that's going to force a retreat from the Hydralisks. Good trade here from Adonminus, and Skinky has no choice but to turn tail back into that Nidus and retreat away. Skinky's 4th is only just... Oh, he cancels the 4th. Okay. It's being scouted, so Adonminus was warping in a couple of units. And by having no 4th base, he's on equal bases to Adonminus, and has been for rather a long time. Adonminus also gearing up for a lot more pressure. Infestation pick coming through. Obviously, Swarm Host could be a really good option to try and shut this down, but they're not going to be out for a long time, nor are any Infestors. A Hive to go up into Vipers, that's a hell of a way off, and this push is hitting now. Void Ray's coming forward, the Zealots closing up the distance. We've got the Hydras attempting to work through this army, but there's just so much Protoss. Supply in Adonminus' favour quite substantially. The force field locking in place a couple of those roaches. The Archon's still alive. The Void Ray's working through the Spore Pool. He's getting the damage very efficiently, but leaving it alive for the moment. That Spore actually dishing out a surprising amount of damage. Takes out a Void Ray, but it's the Archons that are the big power units here. More Zealots coming through. But Skinky, he's down to 86 supply. Only 42 drones. His army supply fractional compared to that of Adonminus, and Adonminus is gonna secure the kill on this third hatch. With that, he forces Skinky into a very awkward situation. He is now down a base. on his Protoss opponent. Down in supply. And Adonminus gets the GG. He's going to take this game, take the series to advance on into the semi-finals of tonight's Go For SC2 Thursday.